So you may be wondering why I'm sitting in a dark shop alone holding a microphone. And to be honest, I have no clue why I'm doing this either, but I did want to give you guys an update on the Baja project, but I wanted to do it a little differently than before because usually, as you know, I'm walking on the Baja throwing my camera around, and I want to do it a little bit differently. And the reason I'm giving you guys this update is because right now it is towards the end of September, and as you're watching this, I'm currently in Maine on an overland trip, and this thing is actually going to sit for a few weeks because I have a very busy October with a whole bunch of different trips and stuff like that because it is fall and it's beautiful and I want to be out. So that's why this is the perfect time for the video, because this is the farthest I'm going to get on this project for about 3 weeks, and then I'll get back into the project and hopefully finish it up quickly. So since the last update, I talked about the brakes and how I was putting new brake lines in, and my dad helped me get those in, and I'm really glad those are in because now I'll be a little bit more confident when driving this thing on the road. But the one big issue which I still haven't fixed yet is the rear brakes are locking up, and if anybody has any solutions, let me know. I think it may be the ABS, but I'm not 100% sure. But the weird thing is it's also soft. There's like nothing there. They obviously brake a little bit, but it just locks them up, and then I have soft brakes. So I don't know what that is. I'm gonna get that fixed once everything's painted and it's back together. Either I'm gonna tear it apart again, or I'm gonna have somebody else do it who knows what they're doing, but they won't be fixed for a little while. So I know last update, which is probably about a month and a half to 2 months back, I talked about how I was about to start the body work, and now the body work is actually completed on the body of the car. Body work is done. I just need to do a final sand, and everything's actually ready to get painted. But the body panels, on the other hand, are a different story. I didn't start those yet. I wanted to kind of get this thing done so I could get this out of here and get the body panels in. And once that was finished, I actually kind of changed plans with the paint. Originally, I was going to do a matte green, which I'm still going to do, but I was going to do that all over the car. But now I'm doing the roof black, which I kind of decided early on. But the big difference is I'm painting the door jambs black. And this actually takes a lot of extra work because there's a lot of taping and then a lot of painting and then taping again to paint green, and it's a mess. But the reason I'm doing this is because I had this thought. I was like, I really want to wrap this car in the future, and then I thought if I wrap it any other color than green and you open up the door and the door jambs are like this matte green, it's gonna look a little bit ugly. I didn't really want that. So the inside of the door jambs are gloss black, and the gate is as well. If you've watched some of my other videos, you've known that I've had 3 other project cars. Now the other 2 cars were hit in the back. I fixed those up with my dad, and only one of them was actually completely painted. And that one, he actually painted. Now this one, I am gonna paint probably most of it. I'm gonna have him do the clear because the matte clear is very particular. It has to be done right or else it won't look right in the end. But the door jambs were a huge learning process. I'm glad I did those. But for the first time, I think they turned out pretty well. So now that this is done, I need to prep the rest of the car, paint it, and then prep all of the body panels, which there is a ton of body panels on this thing. Subaru Bajas are honestly one of the most complicated vehicles in my opinion. I've helped work on a lot of vehicles, and this thing was a pain to take apart. So I'm not even sure how I'm going to go about putting it back together, but it's going to happen. And in the last video, I talked about the color for this thing, and I had a few panels pulled up, and I just was not happy with them. So today, I finally picked my color. And actually, I'm going to go grab the panels real quick and show you guys. All right, so I was kind of lost on what I was going to do with all these colors. So I did go out about, I want to say a month ago, and I ordered some wrap, and this is like matte green military wrap, just so I could see what color I needed to match it to. So I really like this color, and I thought it matched pretty well with what I wanted, but then the problem was I thought it was a little bit blue. But finally yesterday I realized I just needed to pick a color and find one that matched. So I went to a paint shop, got some paint, and I found a color that I like. Now it probably looks the same on camera as the other ones, but it's a little bit different, and compared to this, it's a little bit more brown and yellow. This one's a little bit more blue here on the fender, and I think this is gonna look exactly how I want it to look. But after I'm done painting, I'm really excited to get this thing back together. I'm gonna get this thing on the road as soon as possible. So originally I wanted fall, and I realized that is not gonna happen. So my goal is before next spring to have obviously it on the road, but also a bunch of other stuff done to it. So this winter, once it's on the road and everything's put back together, I am going to do a lot of modifications to it still, mostly interior and also some exterior. I have to build a long roof rack to fit a tent, which I have not actually talked about yet, but I do have a tent for the Baja that I'm really excited to show you guys. but it's not the time yet, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff I have to do. But once this thing is on the road and ready to overland by spring, I'm super excited to take this thing out on some trips. And I think this will be a very fun daily driver, but also will do well off-road. Obviously, it won't beat the FJ. I will never try to say this thing will beat any overland vehicle, because it won't. It's just not built for that. But it will do some pretty simple and exciting off-road stuff. So thank you guys for sticking along with me on the Baja journey. I've had this since February, and it'll be a year this coming February. I'm super excited to show you guys how this thing turns out. It's going to be a work in progress the whole way through. I have a whole bunch of stuff planned, but I'm super excited to get this thing on the road. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Sign me.